Okay, so I just got back from doing a little bit of fragrance shopping and I didn't buy anything because I couldn't find anything. But I did find something that kind of piqued my interest. But then I remembered some of the videos I've been making recently about how disappointing some of these blind buys were, and some of these Middle Eastern like hype fragrances are just not hitting the way they used to for me or should, I think. But I saw the Codlage Island Dreams. I'm pretty sure that's like the Louis Vuitton symphony, I think. Could be wrong, but let me know if you smelled that one. Let me know if it's worth even checking out or if it's just another one of these thousand different clone variants. It's not even that memorable. So anyway, um, I want to talk today about sort of like the effects with like social media and the fragrance community. And I want to start by saying like this video is going to be me talking about basically like why it became so suddenly popular, it seems. And I know there's going to be somebody in the comments saying like, oh, fragrances have been around forever, like, they've been doing that since, the dawn of time or whatever. Like people have always been fascinated by perfume and shit. Like I get that, but like it seems like, I'm not saying I'm like a trendsetter or anything. Like I definitely only got into fragrances like maybe 5 or 6 years. I think I started getting into fragrances maybe like 2018 or 2019. But when I first was into fragrances back then, I don't really ever remember seeing like a lot of like, I know like there really wasn't like reels or like TikTok or anything like that back then. I know there was like sorta something similar, but like not exactly. But I don't remember ever seeing a lot of like fragrance content. I know there's people in the community that have been making videos for like a long time, but I'm just wondering like, is TikTok and like the hype and like all these companies like paying for ads and stuff, is this like, it's obviously influencing the popularity. But it's just kind of strange to see like the demographic of people that become like so interested in fragrances. Like a lot of like teenagers and stuff are like very interested in fragrances, which is not a bad thing, I know. But it's just like, do people like these fragrances because they like them, or do they like them because it's like popular to like be into fragrances now? But I know even still, like in the community, like the fragrance community, it seems like it might be a big thing. But I still think the fragrance community in itself is like still sort of a niche. It's kind of a niche thing to be interested in still, even despite its popularity now, it seems. But I know like the algorithm and shit, like it really only shows you things you're interested in. So obviously it's going to only be showing you like a lot of fragrance shit, and then that would appear as if there's more fragrance stuff than before. But yeah, it's just kind of like curious to me, like, are people actually into fragrances as much as they like let on, or do they just like it because, oh, this content creator is pushing this and he says this is his favorite fragrance, and now I have to go buy that, and then it just becomes like a massive trend to buy like all the JPG fragrances or something like that, or like these like really popular like clone fragrances. Just makes you like wonder like how it became a thing. Because when I first got into fragrances, I didn't realize that there was like a whole like community and like world about fragrances. I just did like some light research, and like I was watching like videos on like how to like fragrances that will kind of give you this vibe that you're going for. And that's kind of how I discovered Black Orchid. But I have a whole other video talking about my introduction into fragrances. Um, but yeah, I think it's just such a weird thing that like, I mean, I could just be totally wrong, and it could have always been like this, and there could have always just been like hype and people like wildly interested in like these, like it just seems so niche to me, I guess. I mean, maybe because I just didn't realize like the amount of people that were interested in fragrances. I also want to say that like sometimes it feels like participating in the fragrance community or just like owning a lot of fragrances, it almost like due to like the popularity, it sometimes feels like it's like we're participating in a trend. But yeah, then it also like ties back to what I said, like by even its popularity, it's still like not that popular, you know. And I think another reason why fragrances becomes so popular with maybe the younger generation or just people kind of just discovering themselves and like like creating their identity and stuff, because like I've mentioned before, like fragrances has a lot to do with identity and forming an identity for yourself, you know, or like or trying to like embody different types of who you want to be or appear as with different like fragrances. So I could see why that would be how it could become so popular, because it's such like an easy like fix to like an identity problem, I think. But yeah, like how did it become so popular? Was it because it's just everything that is like a sort of niche or anything that people are interested in nowadays, it just becomes so hyped up because of social media's effects and just the hype that is around it, and people are always trying to like market people's interests and make money off of people, you know. I don't know. I just something I was thinking about. But I don't know. There's some people in the comments that have tell me about like their fragrances that they've had for like 10 years, you know. But obviously there's like fragrances that are super old. So they're like there's fragrances that are from like the 30s. Like I mean this is not even really planned, but this is just like sitting right here. Um, yeah, let me know if you want me to do a video reviewing this. Um, so yeah, I think this would be my oldest cologne in my collection technically right now. Not oldest by like shelf life or whatever, but like it's literally the oldest in production, I think. But I did just purchase another fragrance. I blind bought another fragrance. I know, shame on me, but I blind bought a fragrance that is even older than this, or maybe around the same time. I'm not going to say what, but stay tuned for that. But yeah, sorry. I There's been a lot of an influx of like comments and subscribers on my channel lately. I'm trying to like keep up with all of my comments and everything. I'm trying to interact with every single comment. I will get to your comment and react to it and read it. I will read all comments. It's just taking me a little bit longer. Like I'm not ignoring anyone. It's just taking me a little longer to read them because there's just a lot of them and I've been pretty busy this week. So if you want me to read your comment, just put it down below and I will get to it and I will see. I'm not ignoring you. But yeah, I just want to say thank you again for everyone subscribing and watching my stuff. I'm trying to stay consistent with my videos. I've just been, like I said, super busy these past couple weeks. But thank you for sticking with me. I know my channel is still pretty new, but I think once I get to 1,000, we'll be cooking. So I think that's about it, really. I wanted to buy a fragrance today. I just have like this. I know I mention it all the time, but like every weekend, I just like want to go out and like just find at least something to like buy. And it doesn't have to be like expensive or anything. It's just like just something to try. You know, I'm just interested in trying shit. You know, I mean that would be considered an addiction if you have like an overwhelming pull towards it and you can't resist it. But obviously I can resist it because I didn't buy Codlage Island Dreams today. And I think they wanted like 35 for it. I don't know if that's good or not. But I'm just kind of tired of like taking hits on blind buys. So, and it's not like something that I've been like wanting to try. That's another thing about like these. I'll just say like this briefly. This isn't really anything relating to this. This is kind of just like a random video at this point, but I think like these classic fragrances and stuff, you know, like the one I just bought, I'm not going to mention, but like this one, and just like all those like, you know, like the really classic fragrances like Acqua di Gio and stuff like that. Like these fragrances are just meant to last. Like they're built to last and they're going to last for generations. But like all these clone fragrances and shit, like I can just picture them like not being in production in like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like maybe like the super popular ones like Camera or something like that I could see that still being around, but I think it's gonna come to a point when people are just like so tired of buying like dupes and like these like Middle Eastern brands and stuff. They're just gonna there's not gonna be a need for them anymore, and then they're just gonna not produce them anymore. So, or I don't know. Maybe it'll take over the whole world, fragrance world. So yeah, but anyway, um, yeah, it's kind of late right now. It's like 8 o'clock. There's supposed to be like a really bad snowstorm that's coming this weekend. So I'm gonna be bunkered down. I'll probably be making a bunch of videos if that's the case. But anyway, this has been kind of just a random video. I don't even know what I'm gonna call this shit. But we're just kind of hanging out tonight. It's the weekend. Yeah. Make sure you do something you like. Take some time to relax and don't stress about things too much. Everything's gonna be all right. And yeah, I think that's about it for this video. I will see you in the next one with a regular scheduled fragrance review or another little topic. But yeah, until then, I'll see you in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Au revoir.